rock.
Welcome back to Nurture and the Dog, everybody.
What's up, everyone?
What's up, guys? Braden and I are here on a special Sunday afternoon.
We sure
to
are.
bring you all in to a really long. It's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be a long episode of Nurture in the Dark.
Oh, because we have a smorgasbord of things we're going to talk about and watch
and talk, and who knows how long we'll talk about that. So usually we kind of come in and we. We shoot the shit for a couple minutes, get everybody accustomed to the show. But Braden and I really need to just get into the show.
We have to get down to business.
We got to get down to business. Yeah. And you want to know why?
Why?
It's because Braden's favorite movie is on upstairs, and he really wants us to get done and watch it before it's over.
That is true. The best movie of all time is currently in the second hour upstairs, and we are missing it. But that's because I'm just dedicated to this. That's how much. I love you, shitters.
And that movie is?
Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, Braden's favorite movie.
1984, correct.
Braden, come on, it's your favorite movie.
That's right, yeah.
You know what it's called.
That's right. Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984, greatest movie of all time, is currently playing upstairs.
And Braden was we started walking down here to start recording, and he saw that it was on, and he just went, oh, and he walked down the steps. Audibly sighed, knowing that he couldn't sit and watch more of it.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's just, I watch it every other day.
Right.
But, I had to miss one of my days to come here. So.
Braden's first thing he said to me after he finished the movie for the first time, he looked at me and said, I'm going to make it my life goal to watch that movie 1,984 times so that I could have Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, I shouted it. I said, I swear it. I swear I will.
I was like, whoa, I don't ever want to even see it again. But Braden was adamant.
I just could not.
He loves it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine my life without it.
Right. Be tough too.
Yeah.
Be tough too. A world without 19.
It honestly opened my third eye. It changed things for me.
Yeah. So we got to get to it.
Yeah.
Because of that movie. Before we get in, so Braden and Jared hasn't seen the new Deadpool movie yet. So before he gets here, we were like, we're going to get our Deadpool review out of the way. We saw Deadpool and Wolverine. But right before we get into that, I want to just bring up the news that dropped last night. And just kind of, because this news, I think, would come as a little odd for people who hadn't seen some of the things and ideas they introduced in Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, I know what news we're talking about.
So last night was Comic-Con. This weekend was Comic-Con, but Marvel's panel came off, and they announced that they have retitled the Kang Dynasty Avengers movie to Doomsday, and they have cast...
MF Doom.
Yeah. RDJ is MF Doom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. The old Robert Downs himself
is going to be Dr. Doom in the MCU. And honest to God, when I first heard whispers of this throughout the week,
I'd heard nothing about this throughout the week.
I thought it was insane. I heard a little bit of whispering. It came as a complete
surprise to me, but at the same time, I was like, I'm not surprised.
It was a complete surprise when I heard people whispering about it. Now that it's real, I'm just kind of like, I'm glad I had the time to process it through the week. I think it's going to be pretty fucking cool in the long run.
I think it'll be good, yeah.
And I think Deadpool and Wolverine has things in it that make me really agree with that. But it was an odd decision, but I'm interested, to say the least.
Do you think this was always planned? Or do you well, I guess it wasn't always planned because of the whole Kang stuff. But
yeah, I don't think it was.
Do you think he ever planned to come back, or do you think this was like a favor?
I don't think it was either of those things. I really think
it just came together.
I think it really it had to come together. I mean, this plan, it's probably years in the making now, but like as soon as fucking Jonathan Majors got in trouble, like Marvel needed to start.
Which, how long ago was that? That was like a couple years ago now?
It started in March of last year, of 2023.
Oh, that recent.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember.
And then it wrapped up by like the end of the year.
I don't know why I remember hearing about it.
It feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It feels contrived, but I feel like it's also like they've got some good ideas behind it. Because like I told you, the thing about the Reed Richards in the comics that went, like, what if he was evil? Right. They're doing that with Tony Stark. So because here's some comic things that can make that odd. It's because Doctor Doom is Victor Von Doom. He's a real guy. Like, he's not a Tony Stark variant in the comics.
Separate character entirely.
Yeah, and the movies do different
backstory.
things, and that's fine. But it's just like, I hope they really sell it, because they're getting rid of a really popular character that is usually Victor Von Doom,
and replacing him with a very popular actor known from a different very popular character.
Right. So I if anything, dude,
pretty much the most popular character.
I'm interested to see. I can't wait to see the movies that and see him play this evil version, or what he's.
I hope
like.
I hope it's a completely different performance than what we're used to with him in the MCU as like Tony Stark. Like, I hope he really nails it, which I think he will, because he's a good actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see the audience reactions to it.
It was my favorite thing to see come out of Comic-Con, honestly. I watched a little video.
That's the only thing I know that's
People
come
were
out
cheering
of Comic-Con.
there. Yeah, there's been some stuff, but like Marvel definitely was like, we gotta raise the roof, especially lately.
Yeah, I saw the pictures today when I was scrolling through my phone.
Yeah.
Of him dressed up.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll have a mask on a lot of the time?
I don't know. Like, that's my thought too. Is just like, well, what if they just got Robert Downey Jr. not to ever show his face, not to ever
like a Darth Vader situation there.
To allude.
That would be cool.
I don't know, but I feel like when you pick Robert Downey Jr. wasn't just some random character in the MCU. He was Iron Man. So
he was the character. He was like the face of the MCU.
You've got to have that. If you're gonna get Robert Downey Jr., you got to have characters like Thor, like Spider-Man being like, that looks like Tony Stark.
Fucking Tony Stark.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to fight this guy.
I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna go with he's a variant angle.
Oh, absolutely.
Tony Stark is one of the smartest guys in our reality, but he's kind of an asshole, but he's a good guy. And in some universes, he's completely evil, and for whatever reason, has his name changed to Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, if he even goes by Victor Von Doom, you'd hope, but I guess you could still be Doctor Doom and just have a different name. I mean, Doctor Doom's already it's a silly name.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like it. I accept it. It's been around forever. But like,
do we know what kind of Avengers are going to be in this movie?
I think they've like hinted at like everybody involved is going to be in it. I mean, after watching Deadpool Wolverine, I feel like
they're teeing up for him to actually show up in an Avengers movie, because they need some steroid shots to the franchise right now, because it's kind of all over the place in terms of quality.
Yeah, and there were things like the Thor scene. That's going to pay off in an Avengers movie, probably, with Deadpool.
Oh, certainly. They're paying that off sometime. People aren't going to forget about that.
Yeah, no way.
Even though I know that there's been a lot of things in Phase 4 that haven't been paid off yet, but that's just because I think they're setting up so much stuff. Yeah. I don't know if everything will get paid off, because not everything in the MCU has been paid off.
Sure. But that certainly needs to.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to break off from this talk, and I'll get into a little more about it when we get to stuff in Deadpool that makes me believe in choosing Robert Downey Jr. But we should dive into talking about Deadpool before Jared shows up.
Deadpool,
sneaky Jared,
and Wolverine. Yeah, he can get here anytime. It just depends on if he's sleeping or not.
Right, he's either sneaking or he's
sleeping or running.
So we better get moving.
Yep.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Braden and I think let's start as spoiler-free as we can, just talking about general ideas, and then we'll get into specifics.
Yeah. Warn into specific spoilers, because I highly recommend seeing this movie before you hear us talk about it. Mm-hmm. If you want to hear our thoughts on it, because we're going to go full in spoilers.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some of the jokes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll give you a heads up when that's about to happen.
Yeah.
We'll start with just how the movie made us feel.
Right.
How'd the movie make you feel?
Silly.
Yeah. I felt very silly.
I felt very silly in a good way.
Silly in a fun time at the movie theaters kind of way.
Yeah, I was having a really good time. I was glad that
felt like I was on a ride.
Yeah, we went to an AMC. Was it IMAX or what was it?
It was their Big D, so it's basically IMAX.
Yeah, it was a nice screen. Yeah, it was a nice theater, and the theater was mostly full. There's only a few empty seats.
I was worried about keeping you guys' seats saved.
I was surprised when I saw the theater.
I was starting to worry.
Well, the employee outside said that there's over 100 people in our theater. Mm-hmm. So I was surprised that you guys managed to save us seats.
Yeah, I was when you said you were waiting for chicken tenders, I was like, okay. I
know the chicken tenders took way longer than I thought they would.
Yeah, they take a long time. I know that.
And at first I thought someone stole my chicken tenders, because there was someone else at the counter, and I saw people bring out chicken tenders, and they're like, oh yeah, and then my chicken tenders were nowhere to be seen for like 5 minutes had passed, and they said it was going to take like 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like was that the chicken tender? Because like I was like kind of standing far away, so I was having this crisis of like, I need to get to the theater. Kaylee's standing there waiting for me to get her chicken tenders.
Yeah.
And someone might have just walked off with the chicken tenders. There might have been a crisis.
Yeah.
But no, they were just taking a while.
Everything worked out well.
Yeah.
You got the tenders. The seats were saved. We were good to go. We got to watch fucking Nicole Kidman come in and tell us how fun we're gonna have at the movies.
That was touch and go there for a little bit. And she was gonna come out.
I wasn't worried. I knew she was coming.
There she was.
She's always there.
Telling us why we watch movies.
So that was pleasant. We got to experience that together.
Love it.
And then the movie started. And without going into spoilers still, I mean, from the moment this movie kicks off till it ends, it just doesn't stop moving. There's no lull periods, as we've discussed. And they just are so funny about everything. And the plot, like I was trying to tell people, like, I don't think the story's anything like crazy.
It's kind of all over the place.
With what it is, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's so comic booky. I keep seeing people say that this was a love letter to the Fox series.
It was definitely the send off.
I would go a step further though and say this movie felt more like a love letter to not just the Fox superhero unit, but like superhero movies in general. It was a love letter to comics. It was a love letter to comic book movies, but it was also like a love letter, like a little payoff to, hey, do you keep up with everything? Not just in the MCU, but actors and the movie industry and how things work.
Yeah, the meta humor of the actual world.
We're going to have that. And it was just this conglomeration of everything together that I was just like, this is what comic book movies are for. Like, this isn't just a love letter to the Fox universe. It is a love letter to just comic book movies and the entire genre.
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie. Miranda has said on many occasions it is her new favorite movie. Now there is recency bias there.
It's her 1984.
Sure, yes, exactly.
Wonder Woman.
But with this movie, I'm like, yeah, I could see. I could. It's certainly my favorite of the Deadpool movies.
Oh yeah, I think it easily beats out the first two, even though I love the first two.
It's like honestly the Deadpool trilogy is very interesting because like a lot of trilogies, the third one is kind of where they fall short. Not every, but a good chunk of them. Not with Deadpool. It's just like this is both. Logan, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool. They are both just masters of their characters, and they're like, we're going to make a crazy, bonkers movie out of this.
And it's funny how it all started in the Foxverse with...
Oh, yeah.
Was it Wolverine Origins? Is that where we first see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even though that's like a different Deadpool than this Deadpool.
Right, yeah.
But they get into that. Like,
of course, yeah.
Multiverse.
Of course they do. But this movie, like... It has stuff just referenced from even the first X-Men movie. Even movies before the X-Men, which we'll get into spoilers with some of like the cameos they have that are just like, this is fucking...
Yeah, if you didn't like reference humor or meta humor...
Yeah, this might not
be for you, but this is... I think it was all very funny.
It hit my funny G-spot the whole 2 hours.
Because I'm sure like for people who don't keep up with it, like all of it, there are some jokes that will fly over people's heads.
For sure. Definitely.
But like
for us though, I knew all of it.
Yeah, I knew all of it, and the actors sell it, and like the audience, the theater that we were in, all laughed at the jokes, except for some of them. It did feel like we were the only ones laughing.
I know. There were a couple times, but I didn't care. I was like,
I came here to enjoy this movie.
I have been the only guy laughing in the movie theaters many times in my life.
I remember Barbie distinctly, you being the only guy to laugh at the jokes, and loudly.
Yeah.
Not even just a chuckle, just ha ha.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I felt at this theater too, though. Like, but there were more people laughing with me because I was laughing out loud the whole time.
There's over 100 people there, so there was laughs the whole time. Yeah. But the theater was pretty full.
There were times though where it was just like us and maybe just like a couple other people.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, maybe that's not for everybody, but like there might have been 2 or 3 jokes the whole movie that didn't work for me. Another thing I liked about the movie though is like everybody's going into this being like, this is not Deadpool coming into the MCU. This is Deadpool's MCU movie. And though there are a lot of MCU mechanics in the movie, I still feel like it's a
Fox X-Men.
A Fox X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Just with like the help and like a little like nudging along from things and concepts introduced in the MCU.
Right, that MCU style has bled in now to his universe.
Right.
But it's still very much a Deadpool Fox movie.
Absolutely. I mean, so much so that this is where spoilers are going to start. Spoilers are going to start right here. By the end of the movie, he's not in the MCU.
No, he's still in the Fox. He got to keep his universe.
He got to keep his universe. So,
essentially, the entire plot of the movie revolves around him saving his universe. Because he's always been, in his movies, fighting smaller time villains. Like they kind of go into his existential crisis of how he wants to be an Avenger, but he got denied from being an Avenger.
Yes.
But this is literally his shot to be a universe-saving hero.
And ultimately, spoilers, he does. He does become one of these heroes. And, like, the movie does a good job of being like, oh, yeah, they're still in the Fox universe, but, like, we've just shown you that, like, those two can carry over anytime we want. And we can mix them in anytime.
The entire plot revolves around the meta humor of, like, being aware of these other movies because it's going to reference these other movies. If you haven't watched Logan, you might want to watch Logan before you watch this.
Definitely want to watch Logan before you watch this. I would also recommend watching Loki, just because like the TVA that's the big Marvel involvement, is a concept that they made in Loki that we've only ever seen in Loki till this point. So like you can buy into it. You can miss Loki and still be like, sure, why not? This, but I think it's better to know what comes from it.
Yeah, and it's good to know what the TVA is, because I think they are going to use that a lot as the mechanism for the multiverse. At least I think that's what I think they had planned for, like, Kang.
Yeah.
Since Kang was originally introduced in Loki.
Right, yeah.
And the TVA. But yeah, the Time Variance Authority, for people who might not be aware, are multiverse hopping super cops, basically. And they come after Deadpool.
Well, they come to get Deadpool.
At
the beginning, they come to like recruit Deadpool. They're gonna wipe out his universe because their anchor character, which was Logan, died in Logan. So they need to erase the universe. But they see potential in Deadpool, so they're like, "We're gonna keep you."
Right. It's essentially referencing the entire Fox universe itself, saying like, as soon as Hugh Jackman exited the Fox universe, that was like the anchor point to like what kept it alive. Essentially saying like all these universes are going to die because the anchor point, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine as Logan, is officially dead. From, I guess, spoilers from the movie Logan.
Yeah. Which they have so much fun with. You actually, you might not need to see the Loki, but totally watch Logan beforehand.
The entire opening sequence depends on you understanding the ending of Logan.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic
Logan's been out for a long time now, so a lot of people have seen Logan.
And if you haven't, you should. Because, like, not only are we like, watch this movie before you watch this movie, watch this really fucking good movie.
Really good movie.
Before you watch this other really fucking good movie.
Which is essentially the real end point of the Fox universe, even though Deadpool came afterwards. But Logan was meant to, like, cap it off.
Yeah.
Just like, we're done doing these movies with Hugh Jackman, and so we're probably not going to do these movies at all, because Hugh Jackman was the flagship character.
And they got him, and thank fucking God they did, dude, because this movie... So, I just want to start getting into some of the plot of the movie. We can talk about things we thought were funny as well. The movie starts off, the opening scene of the movie is the ending scene of Logan, the graveyard, and Deadpool is digging up Wolverine's corpse. And I was already laughing because, like, the whole time we're waiting for this movie to come out, you know, so many reports of them being like, we're going to respect the ending. Like, this won't change the ending of Logan. Yeah. We're going to respect it, yada, yada, yada.
Deadpool narrates the whole time like he usually does in his movies.
Right. Yeah. And right out the gate, they're desecrating the grave. And I'm just like, this is literally so fucking funny.
Literally going full into the joke of, we're not going to honor Logan at all. Like, we're going to completely make fun of that movie.
And, like, it's a little scary because you think, like, oh my God, is he going to, like, is this the Logan? Like, is he going to pull, did he not actually die there?
Right, like, he's just going to be alive.
But then he's just like, fuck, he is, and he just has the skeleton. He's just carrying
the
around.
The adamantium skeleton of Logan, so you know it's him. It's just there.
Oh
like most of him is rotted away, except for like parts of his face is still there.
Dead as fuck.
You look very passed away.
Oh my god! So right out the gate, I'm laughing about that whole setup, and then the time variance authority track Deadpool down, because like every Deadpool movie, it starts off near the middle or the end, and we go back
disjointed.
Yes. So we're like, oh, they're already chasing him, and like, dude, the NSYNC song that comes on during it's Bye Bye Bye, and it's just Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool fucking all these guys up
with Wolverine skeleton. Like he exclusively pretty much uses his adamantium bones to kill everyone.
Brutally. The opening's very like, oh, is Disney gonna let this be graphic? And it's like, yes, it is. Is Disney gonna let this be fucked up? Yes, it is.
Is Disney gonna let them make fun of itself?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And like, there's this mix at the beginning of just like the Bye 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 is playing, and it is a fucking jam. So you're jamming, you're laughing, you're
a montage
seeing
of
great
him,
action.
Yeah, just eviscerating these guys with Logan's corpse.
Yeah. And then in the midst of all that, it cuts to just like parts of Deadpool just doing the dance number from the Bye 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 music video.
The exact dance number.
And it is chef's fucking kiss, man.
Perfect Deadpool opening.
The best way to open this movie. Just like the other two.
I never had any doubts, but I was just so glad to see where they went with it.
Every time the movie had to top something, I was always just like, what are they gonna do here? And every time I was like, I'm fucking blown away every time.
Yeah, I guess that's the potential of Deadpool, is that, you can just keep topping it, just the way the character's written. Like, you can just keep getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
Because, like, this movie makes the first Deadpool movie tame in comparison to the crazy antics that he gets up to.
Absolutely.
Because he's in the multiverse now.
Yeah.
So anything is possible.
It was like Disney being like, look at these motherfuckers saying that we're not going to let him like do whatever he wants. We're going to make him make the craziest of the movies.
All doubts have been expelled there. This is one of the dirtiest movies, one of the most goriest.
Yeah. It was just such an R-rated movie that by the end of it, when it said a Walt Disney production, I was just like, I cannot believe they put their name on this. This is what a world we live in.
Yeah.
So let's start diving a little more in the plot from there. Braden, take it away, my plot guy.
Yeah, so after he completely massacres all the TVA agents that are after him, it jumps around a little bit in time, where it goes pretty much after the events of Deadpool 2, and he hasn't been doing much. Like, he's started working at a car dealership.
Yeah.
He hangs out with all of his friends that he saved in time after using Cable's device, which, do they mention what happened to Cable? Because Cable's not there.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, you can maybe just assume that Cable went back to his own time.
You just assume Cable went back to his own time.
Cable saved his family.
Because they didn't get Josh Brolin for this movie.
Sure. Which works. I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But everyone else is at Negasonic Teenage Warhead's there. Colossal's there. He doesn't say anything, so I don't know if they actually got him
does say anything. He watches the Great British Baking Show.
Oh, that's right. He does. Yeah, he does have a cameo.
He's one of my favorite lines.
Yeah, but
that's it. But
if you're in this movie for like the regular Deadpool cast, this is about all you're gonna get of them.
Yeah, they're not in it much.
They're not in it
they're
much.
There, though. They're there enough.
Because it's a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. It focuses on him and Logan.
Which is why it's not called Deadpool 3. It is called Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it shows that he's not very satisfied with his life, and also reveals that he and Vanessa have broken up, but she's still in his life.
Yeah.
Like, she's still his friend.
Calls him Buddy.
Buddy, and hangs out with him, but she's like actively seeing other people, and you can tell he's crushed by it, but we're not really sure how this happened.
Yeah.
Especially because the first two Deadpool movies kind of revolve around her, like saving her.
Right, yeah.
And him loving her.
Right.
So it was like kind of a gut punch.
Very much of a gut punch.
To see that, but...
And he's happy. The thing with all this going on, though, he really is genuinely kind of happy at the beginning of the movie. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
He's happy with his life.
It shows
wish
a
it was
scene
better.
with the cameo with, what's his name? Jon Favreau.
Happy Hogan. He goes to interview to be in the Avengers.
He goes to interview Happy Hogan in the beginning of the movie to try and get into the Avengers, and they have like a funny back and forth quip off.
Yeah.
He makes fun of him being a driver.
Right,
He's like, how did you get in charge of the Avengers HQ if you're the driver? He's like, I'm not just a driver. Like, I'm the...
Yeah, I started as the driver, but I worked my way up.
Worked my way up, yeah. There's some good chemistry there.
Good banter there, yeah.
Good banter there.
Yeah.
Which it's Jon Favreau. He's a veteran at this.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and same with Ryan Reynolds. So those two have a little fun scene at the beginning.
Yeah, and it's just a little quick little scene to
Ultimately, though, sorry, he doesn't get in.
He does not get into the Avengers. Yeah,
you're not in the.
They
Avengers.
there's good back and
send
forth,
him off.
but they set him up essentially for the theme of what the movie's going to be, which is Deadpool becoming greater than himself, greater than his universe, and becoming an actual universe-saving superhero.
Yeah, totally.
So a lot of hints of him going into the Avengers.
Right. And then there's a 6-year time gap because that took place in 2018.
Yeah.
And then 6 years later, and like Braden said, all this stuff is happening.
Yeah, he's basically living a normal life now. I don't think he does mercenary work anymore.
It doesn't seem like it.
He hangs out with Peter a lot from Deadpool 2.
Yep. They work together. They sell cars.
He
lives with Blind Al.
Yep, still living with Blind Al. They have good cocaine jokes, which, again, Disney movie with cocaine jokes.
Mm-hmm. As they call out Disney.
As they're saying
Disney said we can't say this.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it. So that was fun.
Specifically Kevin Feige.
Yeah. It's in the trailer. I'm sure if you've watched the trailer, they do the whole bit in the trailer.
Yeah.
They had a couple different cocaine nicknames. So yeah, and then he gets a knock at his door. And in the middle of his birthday party, he walks out, and it's the TVA, and they just come and take him.
Yeah, which at this point, I thought the movie was going to be... I assumed from the trailers, because I did see one trailer, like the first teaser trailer that came out. I assumed it was going to be the TVA going after his friends that he brought back from time, because that's technically a huge violation of the timeline. But turns out they don't care about that.
Yeah.
They completely brush that aside and say, yeah, we don't give a shit.
Your universe is so we don't give a shit about that we don't give a shit about that.
Right. And we find out later why. But the TVA recruits Deadpool into their ranks, and so he leaves those characters. Those are the last, pretty much, that we see of those characters until the very end from the Deadpool universe.
Truly, yeah.
And he goes into the TVA universe where they control time, essentially, and prune any aberrant branches or universes. Or I guess they don't do that.
They don't
anymore.
do that anymore, but they did. And then Deadpool is actually picked up by a subsect of the TVA that are trying to kind of still prove.
Right. We find out that there's factions in the TVA.
And they're kind of the
people.
dirty factions.
Yeah, there's some factions in the TVA that want to still eliminate other universes that are aberrant from the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
Even though I think in Loki they stopped that.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's believable that there's resistance.
Yeah. But you find out they don't give a shit about Deadpool's universe because it's dying.
Yeah.
And it's going to degrade over time anyways, but this guy wants to speed up the process by putting in a device to blow it up. Oh, the guy, I guess he's one of the main villains. He's played by Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
The TVA guy.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, what was his name?
God, he did have a name that they used often. Some of the Paradox?
Paradox.
Mr. Paradox?
Mr.
Is that
Paradox,
yeah. I'm not going to look it up anymore then.
It's
so yeah,
Mr.
Paradox. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Paradox is in charge of this TVA faction that is in charge of Deadpool's universe, so the Fox universe. And he says that, your universe is dying because it lost its anchor point. Its anchor point is the thing that needs to be present in the universe for all of the rest of it to make sense. And he finds out that the anchor point is Logan, Wolverine, from specifically his X-Men movies and stuff. So they established that those are in the same universe.
Without him, your universe can't exist.
Right.
And he's dead.
So it's going to degrade over time, but Mr. Darcy wants to destroy it quicker with a machine that's just going to wipe it out. I don't know why he's telling Deadpool this.
I think
He's just
I think he feels like he has to. Yeah, he's oh yeah, we just want you out of it. We need you out of it. You have potential to be an Avenger, but we are gonna take out. You're gonna get everything you want, but we're just letting you know your whole universe is going.
Yeah.
I don't think he thinks it's a big deal. I think he thinks Deadpool's just gonna be yeah, sure, I don't care.
Yeah, it's very meta of Disney taking over Fox.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just we're gonna take the stuff out that we like and put it in our stuff, but the rest of this we're not gonna touch anymore.
Right. And they were we'll make a movie to make it go out nicely.
Yeah.
And they do a good job.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Deadpool doesn't want to work for the TVA, and he steals one of their devices to find a new Wolverine, and because they can hop dimensions and universes.
To find a new anchor point, so he's going to go check out different universes to find the correct Wolverine.
Yeah. And there's a lot of funny shit that we just skipped over in that whole little spot. So I'm just going to pinpoint some of the ones I really liked. Before Deadpool leaves the TVA, they suit him up with like their armor and their clothes, and it's showing him getting suited up.
The montages.
There's a montage of like him getting the suit on, and the guy suiting him up just keeps slapping his ass, and it's funny. It's a lot of that. It's really funny.
The way it's cut is funny.
Yes,
edited,
it
like
slowly
really
gets funnier and funnier and funnier.
Smacks his butt,
and then Deadpool comes out, and he's still pumped. He's dancing to, I think, "Fabulous" by Fergie. And he's just like.
A lot of millennial core in this movie.
Dude, the soundtrack for this movie is
very millennial.
Not just good, but it's funny in the context that it's in.
Oh, yeah.
But then he's like, I'm pretty sure your tailor is a pedophile or something like that.
He's a predator.
A predator. Yeah, he's a predator.
Your tailor's a predator, by the way.
There's a lot of throwaway jokes that they're so quick and so throwaway, but so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, so fucking funny.
I wonder how much is written and how much was improvised.
That's so hard to say.
It's hard to tell.
It is. I don't know how you write half of this shit. So that happens. I thought that was just a really funny part. And then there's a montage of Deadpool going to look for the different universe Wolverines, and he finds many different ones, and it's so fucking funny. Oh my god, because it starts slowly with
the first one, you see Hugh Jackman turn around, he meets him in a bar. He's in a bar, and he turns around and just plop falls off his bar stool, and it's just this little tiny Hugh Jackman. It's a comic book accurate Wolverine.
Just a really short Wolverine, and it's just funny as fuck. It's goofy. Deadpool makes fun of him.
Isn't Wolverine supposed to be 5'5", 5'4"
right.
in
He's
the comics?
To be a small little guy.
Yeah.
seeing Hugh Jackman as that was
this tiny
so
little dude.
Funny, and he beat it. And it's just a montage of all these Wolverines getting mad at Deadpool and fucking him up, and
beating him up. Yeah,
he can't recruit them to come to his universe.
He jumps to the one dimension where it's just skulls everywhere, and Wolverine's up on a cross, crucified. And he's just I'm not even gonna ask what happened here.
He's just up screaming too.
It's just such a dark universe. He's just I'm not even gonna touch this.
Yeah, I'm out here.
This universe has too many problems.
Yeah, and then you see all that's where it does the Wolverine versus the Hulk little scene with Wolverine in that comics era outfit that Deadpool even references.
Goes to a lot of different comic book storylines of Wolverine.
The montages in this movie are fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is just another one.
That's where a lot of the meta humor and jokes come in. Multiverse humor comes in.
And he can't recruit any of them. They're kicking his ass. They're killing him.
Yeah, they all hate him. They kill him in every dimension.
You can't get him in any dimension. He finally goes to this one that becomes the Logan for this movie.
Right. And we don't know much about this Logan.
They don't tell us anything. We just know that he's a fuck up Logan. He's one that his universe hates.
Yeah, they would say even the worst Logan,
right?
Because he failed in his universe to save his friends.
But it's the only one that doesn't attack Deadpool. So he's this is the one I'm taking. Yeah. So, and that's kind of our setup, and the movie just kind of goes from there.
Yeah, and that's how Hugh Jackman enters the
fray.
The fray.
And it's good, and he has the right away he's already wearing the costume, so you can believe that in this universe he has the costume, so they don't have to describe how he got the costume.
Yeah,
even though they kind of do.
There's a lot of meta humor that Deadpool talks about why it took him so long to wear the comic book costume. Right. But it's just his yellow costume that you see in the trailers.
Mm-hmm. Looks damn good.
And Hugh Jackman's face.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little kerfuffle where Deadpool goes back to the TVA. He's like, look, I got a new Wolverine. You don't have to erase my timeline. And the guy's like, you got the fuck, the worst one.
You got
the fuck up Wolverine. This isn't good. And ultimately, they get pruned. They try to attack the TVA people. I literally thought Deadpool was just going to kill Mr. Paradox at the very beginning when he was telling him, oh, yeah, we're going to wipe out your universe. I thought that's how the whole TVA chase was going to happen. He was going to kill that guy.
Yeah, I figured he was the main villain.
But he didn't, and he was involved a lot of the movie. But ultimately, they prune Deadpool and Wolverine, and they get sent to the Void.
Yeah, where
most of the movie takes place. A lot of the best parts of the movie take place in the Void. Yeah. Oh, my God. When we get there, it's an already great movie. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, if you want to understand what the Void is, go to watch Loki Season 1, Episode 5.
Yep.
They even reference Loki Season 1, Episode 5.
Call it out specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the aesthetic for the Void's really cool. All the destroyed shit. They're kind of in a wasteland section. I know in Loki there were different areas of it. It's all a wasteland, but almost aesthetically have their own like themes.
Yeah, the void is just where unwanted things from the timeline go to eventually die.
And we're in a very Mad Max-esque kind of area.
Very
like
Mad Max
It's
inspired.
very Mad Max inspired. Like they're on
Even
the vehicles.
jokes, like some of these jokes had to have been last minute because there was like Furiosa jokes.
Yeah.
In this as well, and Mad Max references, which that movie just came out.
Yeah, hard to say. I mean, you could just watch the first one and probably reference it, and still, like the first Mad Max and make those references. But yeah, it was pretty wild. And here's where like a lot of the comic booky love stuff comes in, because it's like Wolverine and Deadpool get dropped off in the void, and first they fight. And it's an awesome fight. And I love that Deadpool is even like, let's give the people what they came for. And they just have this awesome one-on-one fight scene.
They know how to set up
like
a payoff.
Who didn't want to see Deadpool?
This whole movie is payoff pretty much for over 20 years of Fox Entertainment of the things that people never got to see but wanted to see.
Yes.
So yeah, Deadpool fights Wolverine. They fuck each other up really badly, but they have the same powers. Yep. Where they both regenerate.
So it's fun. It's just a fun little brawl until the rest of the plot shows up.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, where do we go from there? I think before they get attacked by the characters from the X-Men movies, Sabretooth and the Pyro and all those guys that show up on like the Mad Max shit.
Yeah.
Don't they find Chris Evans first?
They do find Chris Evans. They find Chris Evans in the void, very surprisingly. Shows up at the cameo. It's Chris Evans,
and we're like, it is showing like he's like in a cape, like a cowl,
a blue cape cowl kind of thing.
It's like hiding his costume, but you're like, the movie's telling, like, you hear his voice before you actually see him, so you're just like, oh fuck, we're getting a Cap variant.
Well,
what's this Cap gonna be like?
Captain America-esque music kind of play when he shows up. Like,
and even Deadpool thinks it's Cap.
Yeah, Deadpool is led to believe that this is Chris Evans' Captain America.
Yeah.
And then they are suddenly attacked by the Mad Max squad, which is full of the Fox X-Men villains. Mm-hmm. So I think Sabretooth, Pyro,
Toad. Yeah, there was probably more. I think the bitch, not X-23, but the bitch from X-Men 2 with the long fingers that fought Logan. I think she's there. Yeah. There's a lot of them. This isn't a fucking cameo Easter egg video. This is what we remember.
Yeah, but they're thugs that show up to take them for whatever reason they don't know yet. Mm-hmm. And they get into a fight, but first Chris Evans steps in. He's like, I got this.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, he's about to Cap. And then Deadpool's even like, say the lines. Like, he's going to, Avengers Assemble is what he thinks. And he says, flame on! And just shoots up into the air as Chris Evans from Fantastic Four's Johnny Storm.
Literally, Johnny Storm is in here.
Right there, I was like, oh, this movie is going to be special.
Yep.
He basically gets his ass kicked, though. Like, feet. I thought he died right there. I thought he broke his neck on his fall.
He chooses to shoot fire at Pyro first, who then negates his fire and completely beats him in one move. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of just like a funny cameo. Yeah. You could tell he was not long for this world in the movie.
He was in it a lot more after this than I thought he was going to be in it, but he still is not in the movie.
He has a good part. Like, it's beyond, like, it's a cameo, but it's like a pretty beefy cameo. Like, he's a character.
Yeah, where I think Marvel does a pretty good job with it when they do cameos. Like, same within Spider-Man. Like, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Same with Chris Evans in this. But they ultimately get captured.
They're all captured.
Yeah, they can't win. I think they kill Sabretooth. Somebody chops Sabretooth's fucking face off at one point. I can't remember who it is. Can't remember how it happened, but they kill Sabretooth very quick.
Yeah, he dies pretty quickly.
But then they get taken to our main villain's lair, which is in the void,
in the body of a passed away Ant-Man, giant Ant-Man.
Yeah. That's
her home base, is like in the skeleton of this giant Ant-Man that passed away in the void.
And Johnny Storm is telling them on their way to this that, like, Cassandra Nova is her name, and she's the villain, and he's giving a lot of the exposition, but he's also telling them, like, there's an underground fighter group that I'm a part of, like, trying to take her down.
Yeah, there's, like, rival gangs in this faction, but the main villain, Cassandra Nova, is the worst one, and there's, they mentioned rebels against her.
But they're getting taken to her.
Yeah.
And that's I like when they get to the scene at her. Like, she is, knowing that she's, like, the twin, they let us know she's the twin of Charles Xavier, so she has, like, some of his unchecked powers a little. And
she has, like, his powers, but creepier.
Yeah, very creepier.
Because she
has to touch people to get into their minds.
So she's a very powerful psychic, but she can't just do it remotely like Charles Xavier can. She has to mind fuck them with her hand.
Yeah, like she can use telekinesis. She can move people and throw people around and
rip people's
skin off.
Very powerful telekinesis.
Yeah, but if she's gonna get into your head, she has to literally touch you. And I like the effects, like the visual effects of her reaching into people's heads, and even like
that was a cool
how
effect.
she can like affect their memories and talk to them in their memory zone. Like very cool. When this movie wants to be serious, it is serious. It's funny 98% of the time, but those 2% is serious. Work.
I did think it was cool seeing her hand move through their faces and stuff, and how like her fingers would come out their nose or like through their mouth or
push like their eyes kind of in a weird way.
Yeah, push their eyes in a weird way. Like it just looks very gross and disturbing, but in a cool way.
Yeah.
Very cool effect.
So
she's a bad person.
She's a bad person.
She's like an evil twin.
Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, like tells her all this shit that Chris Evans said about her on the way to the place, and she just fucking kills him by ripping his flesh.
Which initially, at the beginning of the movie, we're led to believe that Deadpool just made all that stuff up.
Yes.
Because we don't actually see a lot, like half the exposition. They cut away.
There's a lot of moments of people say throughout this movie from this point, like on of like, you got Johnny killed. Like, did he get Johnny killed? Like, it's a part of the plot, but you think it's because Deadpool just said all this shit.
Right.
And you get payoff for that later in the movie.
Because Deadpool is a crazy guy.
Another thing I think we miss, because it's another joke that's like this through the movie, when we skip past it, when Mr. Paradox is trying to bring Deadpool into the MCU, he shows him the scene of the future of Thor crying.
Yeah.
Like holding Deadpool's mangled body and Thor's crying.
Why is Thor crying?
And throughout the movie, Deadpool is just asking the question, like sporadically random, like what made Thor cry?
What made Thor cry?
Oh my God. And they don't pay it off in this movie. I was wondering if they were gonna.
We know at some point in the future, Deadpool and Thor are going to meet, and Deadpool's going to be dying or something, and Thor's going to be crying.
Yes. And I cannot wait to see the payoff.
And it's something important.
But the joke just in the movie of him, like, in these very serious moments, still seeking out, like, why is Thor crying?
Right.
Like, what about this? What about me makes Thor cry? So funny. So I like that joke as well. Like the Johnny, you got Johnny killed joke mixed with, like, the Thor, why is Thor crying jokes. Fantastic.
A lot of recurring jokes. So ultimately, they kind of rebel and get away from Cassandra Nova's lair. Like Johnny Storm is killed because she rips his skin off and his organs fall out into a pile.
It's fun. That's gory. Miranda's favorite scene. When it happened, she left. Very, 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 very hard.
They even mentioned how they needed to kill him off quickly because of the budget.
Right.
Like they can't.
Which was something we even said to each other. Like he's not going to be in this for a long.
Like,
the fact that he's even here is like, whoa.
Right.
He's out. And I'm kind of drawing a blank. And that's another problem. Not a problem with this movie, but so much happened. Me and Braden were both like, it's hard to remember all of it.
Yeah. They fight her for a little bit.
They do fight her for a little bit. They don't like win it all.
Yeah. Logan gets his ass kicked a little bit. Then he stabs her.
Yeah.
But then she can heal. She can like heal herself if her powers work.
Yeah.
Oh, that purple guy showed up. The eater, the soul eater.
Is that how it happened? Elias showed up?
Yeah. They managed to like escape from the guards.
Okay.
When that Elias showed up.
When Elias showed up for the sacrifice.
And they used the chaos from that to escape.
Yes. Okay. And they shoot themselves away and they are found. Oh, that's when they find the Deadpool variants. Right. Okay, I'm remembering now. Yeah. In the chaos, Wolverine grabs Deadpool and he hits one of those things that shoots them off like out farther into the void. Okay. There it is. And then in this area is where they run into the Deadpool. They meet the Deadpool dog.
The first Deadpool variant.
It's the dog comes running up.
Dogpool.
Dogpool shows up. Deadpool has a moment
Which
with
is
the
ugliest dog. I think it was voted the ugliest dog in the world.
Yes.
It's literally that dog.
And now it's in Deadpool. So now it's a superstar.
Yeah.
And then we meet Nice Pool, which is a Deadpool variant. It's just Ryan Reynolds with his mask off, with his long hair.
Yeah.
He's Canadian.
People also called him Canadian Pool.
Canadian Pool.
But yeah, I think he
goes by
to be
Nice
called
Pool
Pool
in the movie.
Yeah.
He's
like, sorry.
Yeah. So we're back into the funnies again.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds with his normal face, not his mangled Deadpool face.
Yeah. And he's
just very nice and smiley the whole time.
Yeah.
Like he's always smiling.
And Deadpool's telling Logan, like, hey, if we can get ourselves out of this void and back to the TVA, we can convince them to save our universes or like change the past.
Yeah.
That's how he convinces Wolverine to kind of work with them. So Nice Pool gives Deadpool and Wolverine his car to
right,
take
that's
so
where
they can travel.
Is it the Odyssey?
It's the Honda Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
They name drop a lot in here.
They name the Honda Odyssey a lot.
It's their ride for the rest of the movie.
Deadpool fucking hates this car. Like, he's just shitting on it the whole time.
Right,
like,
because he worked at a car dealership before, and
right.
he even we see a scene for him making a joke about how the Odyssey sucks.
Right. So
it's that ongoing Odyssey
that's,
joke.
That's their car to travel the void in. And we are now gifted again with one of the greatest scenes in the movie, and it's it's like a compilation of great scenes, right? Like, it's goofy, it's them riding in the car, Deadpool's doing like Spider-Man noises.
What song were they listening to when they were driving?
Oh my god, yeah.
It was like an Avril Lavigne song or something.
Yeah. It's a damn cold night. Is it that one? I don't. Oh, let me look it up.
I think it was, but it was just
I'll cut this.
Like a perfect Honda Odyssey song.
As they drove off and just. I'm with you.
Because I think at that part that like cut out.
It is. It's I'm with you. Okay, so we're right. I'm not gonna cut any of that. That is the song that is playing as they're driving off. So right away it's funny. They're being very funny. Deadpool's pretending to be Spider-Man. Wolverine's pissed off about it. I love when he stopped. Like, he yells at him to stop, and he stops doing like the signs, but he still just goes.
It's very Shrek and Donkey.
Ah, so funny. So you're getting a lot of that. Deadpool's talking, and in the midst of their conversation, Deadpool does kind of say, I don't know that this is what they can do. I made an educated wish.
Right.
And that fucking floors Hugh Jackman or Wolverine, and he just
stops the car,
and then gives this very serious. He degrades Deadpool, but
takedown,
so well, like beautiful acting. Because that's the thing. Wolverine's the straight guy. Wolverine's the serious in a very jokey movie, and he just gave this amazing, like, fuck you.
Yeah, Wolverine is very much carries all of the serious moments in this movie.
Yeah.
Because they even make it a point that, like, Deadpool can't be serious. Mm-hmm. Like, at this point, you can't take him seriously.
The interactions these two have are exactly how you'd expect Wolverine, Hugh Jackman to get along with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Yes.
So this big fight, this big argument happens, and then they start fighting each other in the car. A second fight that is like, and it's playing a song from Grease.
You're the one that I want.
Yeah.
As they're just going at each other, just ripping each other to shreds. Blood's getting all over the seats and all over the car. It's just like caking the car.
And it's kind of like presented as like a sex scene as well. Like the way a lot of the things are shot, it's like very like a sex scene, but it's a fight scene, a very brutal, gruesome, bloody fight scene. And like my favorite line. So like they've been bitching about this car the whole time. Deadpool's getting his ass kicked. There's blood everywhere. There's literally just blood all over this torn apart car. And in the middle of their fight, he just goes, "I take back what I said. The Honda Odyssey fucks hard." I fucking died. I was so glad that music kept playing at that point, because I don't know how many people were laughing at it like I was. I laughed like a maniac when he said that line. So fucking funny. Fucks hard. And yeah, they just duke it out. It was
just like they fucked each other so hard.
Yeah.
But
it's so just out of metal. Like the whole thing just looks metal as fuck too, covered in blood with this like regenerated healing knives.
Right, because they're both fine afterwards.
Right. The car is in bad shape, but they're fine. And ultimately, the fight just kind of ends. Like they just
get tired.
Yeah.
They fight for hours.
Yep.
In that car.
The car's totaled. Yada yada yada. And then who finds them and takes them to the lair of cameos? Is it Elektra? Does she find them out there and takes them? Yes, but Elektra from Jennifer Garner shows up.
They stumble upon her,
mm-hmm.
but we don't see who it is.
Yeah.
Initially.
Yeah.
But then you see the Elektra blade
mm-hmm.
come out,
mm-hmm.
like counter Deadpool's katana.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see it's Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Which was one of my favorite Fox superhero movies growing up.
It's a fine movie, and it was a fantastic cameo.
Very good cameo.
I was just like, oh, wow. Okay, they are getting everybody for this. And it only continues. So she takes them back to, like, their base to start meeting one by one the cameos.
Yeah.
And the second cameo comes in, and it's Blade.
Which the theater erupted.
Dude, yeah.
When Blade came out.
Let's not forget, throughout this whole movie, there were lots of scenes.
Blade.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes' Blade shows up.
Yeah.
The people clap. You know, there were lots of times in this movie people cheered just for, like, who showed up.
Right.
That was one of them.
There was a clapping theater. Yeah.
So that fucking cameo happens. Braden, everybody in the theater, we're all losing our minds because like we did not see this one coming at all.
No.
Right. So then they're like, we have another person, and I turned to Braden and I'm like, who the fuck else is possibly gonna walk? Because I don't. For me, at that point, I didn't know who could be a more surprising cameo than Wesley Snipes.
Right.
You know
Elektra
what I mean?
was already big enough, and then Wesley Snipes floored everyone. Because
anybody else would have been a little like if Charles Xavier, if like Ian McKellen, you know what I mean? It would still be big, but I was just like, I don't know how it tops this Wesley Snipes cameo.
That was hard to get back.
Yeah.
But I guess he wanted to play Blade one last time.
I guess so. And then who walks out from that fucking corner?
Channing
Tatum is Gambit. And it was so quick. It was like as soon as I was like, who is gonna walk out? And he did, and I was just like, oh my god, they did it. They sort of topped Blade with that.
Yeah, full comic book accurate outfit. He's doing the French accent, like the Cajun accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like very hard.
It's very hard. Like you can't understand him.
And it's good. And it was fucking awesome. But in the midst of all this, like there are still lots of jokes going on. Like Deadpool can't understand Channing Tatum.
Right.
They're all talking about
dialect coach of minions.
There's a point where they're talking about their universe is being destroyed, and then Channing Tatum says something along the lines of like, "Mine didn't even like get a chance."
Yeah, it feels like I was born in the void.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because the Gambit movie never took off.
Because it never happened. But like, I just love that. I love that Ryan Reynolds and him are like just friends, and they're like, "We're gonna do this. Like, you didn't get your movie, but we're putting in this.
You're playing Gambit
and
on
I mean,
screen."
Not to jump ahead, but like, same with the other cameos. They are characters in this movie, and
for sure, like
you get a lot of Gambit fighting. Like
Kaylee and I initially thought they were gonna die right away.
Yeah,
similar to Chris Evans.
Yeah, but they're in it.
They're in it for
quite a bit, and they get some awesome fight scenes. But yeah.
Oh, who was the fourth cameo?
And the fourth cameo is which they gave away in previews, but it's It's X-23, Deadpool's daughter from
Wolverine's daughter.
Wolverine's daughter from Logan.
X-23.
Now a little grown up is also part of the group. So that was a fun cameo. Would have been more fun had I not known ahead of time. But good to see. Like she's a good. I'm glad they did it in the way they did. I'm glad they ended with her kind of lightly because the Channing Tatum one was just so like there was no topping Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
So you might as well just throw her in.
And she's the one who has the most to do with the story because she actually does still play into Logan's story.
Right.
A little bit.
She knows this Wolverine isn't her dad one, but it's him in a different universe, and she kind of like gives him the pep talk to because he doesn't want like they're all making this plan to go attack Cassandra Nova's lair like as a team.
Meanwhile, Logan's just pissed because he finds out that his universe probably can't be fixed.
So he doesn't even want to help.
Yeah.
He's not even going to go with them. He's just getting drunk and being like, I don't fucking want to do this. But he has a nice heart-to-heart with his other universe's daughter.
Yeah.
Who kind of gives him a pep talk that gets him like kind of maybe considering helping.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's also throughout this movie giving him pep talks of being like this, like showing him the picture of his friends and being like, this is my whole universe. I need you to help me. Like, I know you don't believe in yourself, but I believe in you to help me. So please help me.
Right. Because Deadpool has the meta-referential humor, so he knows all about Wolverine.
Right.
And who he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the X-Man, as they call him.
Right.
So they all load up in the Honda Odyssey and take toward the Cassandra Nova's lair.
Yep, they're gonna storm the gates.
And it's pretty fun. Another funny scene, good music.
Whole gang.
They're driving this beat up, fucking destroyed Honda Odyssey in to fight all these bad guys. And it's a beautiful little scene. And another thing that Deadpool movies all have the same kind of recipe, and they just cook it up a little differently. There's always a scene where they roll up somewhere as a team and do like the squad line. Like in the first
fight, yeah.
In the first Deadpool, in the second Deadpool, and now in this one, the squad gets out of the Honda Odyssey.
Which I love that part.
It's a staple, and it's a great part. And they're all getting out of the car. You don't know if Logan's there, and he then gets out of the car with them, and it's like,
rolls
all
out
right.
of the trunk.
He rolls out of the trunk.
So they're all here,
and it's fucking game time.
Yep.
And we're presented with a pretty awesome scene.
Really cool fight scene.
Really cool, like. Gambit, Elektra, Blade.
The part. So this was the part where I assumed they were all going to die right away.
Right.
But no, they gave justice to all these
for
characters.
A long time.
Yeah, they actually all.
They're fighting all the bad guys while Deadpool and Wolverine hop in to confront the leader.
Right, which the bad guys are all like former villains from X-Men's Fox universe.
Yeah. So
they're like handling those guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, but it's just it reminds me of Lord of the Rings. There's just like this other shit like while Faramir's body's getting burned, we're also cutting to scenes of like the battle going on in Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
And that's like them fighting the variants, and then Deadpool and Wolverine fighting Cassandra. Because their whole goal is to
kill Juggernaut, get his helmet, and put it on Cassandra, and force her to open up a portal and send them back to the TVA universe, or Deadpool's own universe.
I think they want to get back to the TVA so that they can stop the TVA from destroying their universe.
Right, because he found a new anchor, so they won't have to destroy his universe.
Right. And that's another. This is another scene where like it gets kind of serious again. Cassandra Nova gets into Wolverine's head because she just throws Deadpool and beats the shit, like wins it, like beats him, and then she goes into his head. We start learning throughout the movie. We're slowly learning why this Logan's a fuck up.
Yeah,
what
we know
he
did something bad.
So, yeah, very, very like first he wasn't there for his friends. They all got killed by humans while he was away. But then we found out a little later that like not only did he come back to find all of his friends dead, he then killed all those people.
Yeah, he killed like a bunch of humans, and he said some of them were like probably didn't even deserve it.
Right. So he's very haunted, and Cassandra Nova jumps into his head, and you're kind of presented this very serious scene. She almost thinks she's convincing him to join her.
Yeah, every X-Man in his universe is dead besides him, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the humans succeeded in a genocide against mutants.
Yeah.
So his universe is done, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done.
And that's why he's so depressed.
Yeah. But it's just a fake out. I mean, it's true, but it's a fake out so that Deadpool can put the helmet on her head, and they shoot the shit out of her so her powers aren't saving her. Well, they don't shoot her. Pyro shows up and kind of
Pyro betrays her
and shoots her,
which is very in character for him.
Yeah, especially in these movies. Betray a Charles Xavier figure. Ultimately, they kind of this is where it got a little weird for me, because Logan kind of, it's like he gives her a change of heart, but she goes back on it very quick.
Yes.
Like he tells her. Something I like about the movie is it also accepts that characters that aren't even in the movie. It's just like he gives this big speech of like talking about what Charles would do, who Charles Xavier was,
right?
How he would save her if he knew.
Knows who Charles Xavier is.
And you do, and those landed like I almost cried when he was saying just like he would have tore the universe in half to come and find you if he knew you were here.
Yeah, because we find out that Charles didn't even know she existed,
right?
Because she was born and like pruned immediately by the TVA because she was too much of a threat. But then she like took over the Void, which proved that she is a big threat.
Sure. And she kind of like lets them go, gives them the strange portal.
She does a Doctor Strange portal
so that they can leave. But she still is like she's still the villain of the movie at this point. Like So that was a weird twist how she she's now just pissed at the TVA. Now she wants revenge on the TVA and the universes.
Yeah.
But she gives Deadpool and Wolverine a chance to escape. Eliath shows up. You assume he's going to kill everybody in that scene. I thought that's where the Gambit and Jennifer Garner and all of them were going to die.
When Logan and Deadpool jumped through the Doctor Strange portal and left the Void, that like it felt like they were betraying the other guys. Because like what were those characters' goals? Was it to escape too, or was it just to like take down Cassandra?
I think it was just to take down. I don't think they had specific. I think they were like accepting that their universes were gone.
Right.
But Deadpool still was, so they were like, we're gonna fight tooth and nail to keep yours alive. And they kind of do. I mean, and that's the thing. They have to dip.
Yeah.
So it's weird. So they shoot through the portal back into the Fox universe, back into Deadpool's home universe.
Yeah. So we leave those characters, Blade, Elektra, like their Gambit. They all kicked ass, but
we jump right into the third act.
Left them behind
in the second act.
Yep.
So the third act kind of begins with like, okay, Deadpool and Wolverine are back in their universe. They're going to try to figure out how to get Wolverine to be his universe, to tell the TVA, like, you don't have to destroy us. Like, he's here, we're here, it's okay.
Yeah.
But Cassandra Nova follows into that universe.
Which she could have done this whole time, but she also mentions that she liked being in the Void until...
Well, she thought she had a pretty good setup with the TVA. Yeah. But now she's figuring out,
she realized she was betrayed by them.
Fuck them, I'm going to go kill them.
Yeah.
She comes in and basically kidnaps the main TVA guy, or like takes him.
Yep, and forces him to tell her how to tamper with the
MacGuffin machine that destroys
universes, so she can destroy all universes somehow.
Something like that, yeah, so that everything's in the Void.
Yeah.
and she keeps the portal open, and she brings all the Deadpool variants in to fight Deadpool and Wolverine while she's doing this to like keep them busy.
Yeah.
And man, what a fucking awesome scene.
All
of these Deadpool variants show up.
Yeah, they mentioned before briefly, Nice Pool mentions like, oh, you don't want to run into the other Deadpool variants because they're all crazy.
Yeah.
And they all apparently work for Cassandra.
Right.
So they're all showing up, and this is also where I was trying to figure out the cameos because some of those voices sounded familiar.
Sure, yeah. But even without knowing who any of them are, it's it's another 10-minute scene of just like funnies mixed with great action, mixed with great storytelling.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like literally 100 Deadpool variants.
Yeah, the portal opens up, and first Dogpool comes out, and she's pumped to see Ryan Reynolds, and it's just like all over him. And then Nice Pool shows up, and then the bad variants show up.
This is one of my favorite jokes.
Great scene in the movie.
Of the whole movie.
So all the Deadpools roll up to confront Deadpool and Wolverine, and they just start blasting. And so Deadpool grabs Nice Pool as like a meat shield for the bullets.
And Nice Pool gets shot the fuck up, which like Deadpool's made jokes earlier about trying to kill Nice Pool because he wants the dog, and so he uses it as a human shield. Nice Pool is still smiling this whole time, and he's like coughing up blood and getting shot through, like looks like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool's like,
how long does it take for you to regenerate? and Nice Pool's just like, regenerate? I don't have that.
Because he's regular Ryan Reynolds, right. So he doesn't have like the weird cancer regenerative thing.
Nope.
So yeah, he can't regenerate, so he's just dying. And
then
Logan's like, "You fucking idiot!" Like,
and so he has to go back to the other side. I don't remember. They have to cross. There's an item that they need.
I think he was trying to get his guns again. I think he left his guns behind.
Yes, so he uses
like he
the
often
body
does
again.
at the final fights.
Mm-hmm. He uses the body again, and it just continues to get.
He's still
now we
alive.
know he can't regenerate, but he's still just getting fucked. And Deadpool's telling him like, everything's gonna be okay. Like don't worry, we're gonna fix you up. It's gonna be fine. There's blood everywhere. Ultimately, his fucking head
explodes,
blows up, and then Deadpool's like, Nice Pool had these two golden guns that Deadpool wanted the whole movie too.
Yeah, the desert,
so like when he dies, he
takes
takes the gold Desert Eagles, and then they finally decide it's time to fucking fight all these variants, and that's a great. I love like the one shot of them running through all the different, because there's like Cowboy Deadpool, there's Lady Deadpool.
The first one we see is Lady Deadpool, who is voiced by Blake Lively.
Right, yeah. And didn't you say the Cowboy one was voiced by Matthew McConaughey?
Cowboy one was Matthew McConaughey.
So, like,
I don't know who the other ones are.
All these different variants, but also acted by people you know, and it's just like
another great fight scene.
This great scene of like Wolverine and Deadpool just killing them all.
We forgot one of the biggest reveals.
What was it?
Beforehand, right before they're about to fight all the Deadpool variants, like Hugh Jackman comes out. They come out walking in sync to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This entire movie, it's been Hugh Jackman's face in like his regular Wolverine outfit.
Yep.
And the build up to this was really
really
cool.
Well
I didn't know where it was
music's
coming until I saw it, but
yeah,
it's like slow motion walk out to like about the big epic scene about to fight all these Deadpool variants. The last second Hugh Jackman goes up to his hood, and pulls over the Wolverine
cowl.
The Wolverine cowl,
and it looks fucking awesome
for the first time.
For the first time in live action,
has the same mask physics as Deadpool's mask, so like his eyes move with it, but it looks very comic booky and looked really cool.
Yeah,
and the theater erupted in laughter.
We had a great time.
Yeah,
and then everybody erupted in laughter and just claps as
because
they're going through killing all these Deadpools. Like Deadpool has some sick kills on him, but I love if you pay attention to the Wolverine kills, because he's just fucking like when he kills a Deadpool, he's putting all of his anger
with Wolverine and rated R.
Right? Yeah,
he's just like,
God, I fucking hate this guy. Like he likes the one he's working with now, but he's just like,
he's taking out all of his anger on
all of them.
But these ones can regenerate.
It's a pretty long scene, and that's the thing. The whole scene goes on. You're just seeing them kill them the whole time. I'm thinking like, they're gonna all regenerate after this, right? Like they're not just gonna kill all these Deadpool variants, and they did.
Because they cut them all down really easily.
Yeah, really easily.
They all regenerate.
Which whatever. Really, yeah, it's fine. And then they all get back up. How do they get out of that situation?
Peter shows up.
That's right. How could I forget? So like they all come. They're about to get into this other fight. I remember there's a point where Blind Al comes out of the window and is just like, I wish I was deaf, not blind. So she didn't have to hear any of it. But Peter shows up in his Deadpool comic. Peter
is what he's
Pool.
called.
And oh my god, this scene was just so funny.
He's in his own self-made suit. His junk is very prominent.
And all the Deadpools know Peter because every Deadpool has a Peter.
Yeah.
And Peter is their best friend. And
He's
they're
like
all
a
just
constant variant.
They're so pumped to see him. And that shot, that close-up on Cowboy Deadpool is he's just like, Peter is a goddamn hero, or something like that. It's just, oh my god, I laughed so fucking hard when he was the one that solved that problem.
They all fangirl over Peter, and they escape from them.
Right, like it gives Wolverine.
Because Deadpools are all irrational, so you can't really control them.
They just love this guy.
Yeah.
And, dude, his Deadpool costume, his fucking balls and dick are just tight in the
most
thing sticking out.
unflattering
Oh
angles
my god,
possible.
So funny. So this gives them a chance to get away and kind of go now confront Cassandra Nova, the TVA, like stop them from blowing up all the universes.
Really quick, do you think Peter was kind of the replacement for
T.J. Miller?
T.J. Miller?
Seems like it.
Yeah, his human sidekick.
I think it was a better idea though. Like I don't think people could have. Like T.J. Miller is a good friend to Wade, but I just think we all loved Peter in the last movie. That we'll just accept that he's like their boys now. Well, he's the only one in the X-Force that he goes back and saves from dying. You know what I mean? So that means something.
Well, he does go back and save them all. Because Shatterstar was there.
Was at the party.
Yeah. Shatterstar, the guy who got chopped up in the helicopter.
Yeah?
He was there.
Oh, I guess I missed him.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know he saved everybody. I thought he
went back
specifically
and
saved Peter. I'd have to rewatch that again.
He saved Peter first.
Either way, I'm glad he's there. Like,
get out of here, buddy.
And it's such a good scene. But they tap out and go finish the job, and yeah, the rest of the movie just sort of happens now. They find the TVA guy. He begs them to stop her. So now they have to work with the TVA again.
Yeah.
To stop Cassandra Nova from activating this.
And he mentions that, there's a stream of matter and a stream of antimatter of like how the machine works. And when they collide, that's how it destroys the universe.
Yeah.
And so they have to like cross the streams or something. It was, some sciencey.
Yeah, some sciencey bullshit that would cause it to not work.
But he says like they have to cross the streams, but doing that will destroy you because it's matter and antimatter. But Deadpool goes and does it anyways. He busts into the one matter stream and starts pulling, but he can't quite reach it to cross the other stream. He's struggling the whole time. He's trying to do like his big noble sacrifice. He like locks Hugh Jackman out of the room, Logan out of the room, and then this entire time
just like a prayer is playing this entire time as well.
Yeah, the entire
it's
time
a very epic scene.
Logan's trying to bust in. There's this big reinforced door that he's trying to bust down to save him.
And ultimately, he does get through it, and they link together, cross the streams, holding hand in hand.
I loved how he did it because he used his claws to reach the other stream because it just wasn't far enough. So it literally goes through his adamantium claws like a medium.
Yeah. And that scene's really cool too, because like it starts breaking them down to an atomic level, and they start to kind of see each other's memories of their lives.
Yeah. Oh, and Hugh Jackman's shirt gets busted open.
Hugh Jackman's shirt gets busted open.
We actually see he's still ripped.
He's super ripped. Oh my god.
Because everyone
They make a point out of like really highlighting his very ripped body.
Yeah. Deadpool looks at it and is like, oh.
yeah. It's really funny, really serious scene. And then it seems like they die. Like the machine breaks.
It explodes. But Cassandra Nova disintegrates.
She gets wiped out.
She gets annihilated.
I think there was something along the lines of like their powers mixing together, which allowed them to regenerate through the bomb, which is why they didn't die.
Yeah, he mentioned that like you'd be reduced to like a single-celled organism or something.
Yeah.
Which I think that is something that Wolverine's come back from. Like he's been reduced to like atoms before.
Yeah, I could have believed they would have died there, but I was fine with them. Like the whole movie up to this point, whatever.
Right.
If that thing didn't kill them, it's fine.
There's a bunch of variants out there.
Yeah.
So
and then in the midst of all this, the actual people in the TV find out that the subgroup is doing all this, so they kind of come in at the end to clean up that mess.
Right, cameo from Loki, one of the TVA officers.
Yeah,
who's like in charge of one of the.
Yeah, she's one of the main characters. I just can't remember her name.
Yeah,
I think it's just like a number as well. But
yeah,
she Peter Pool shows up and is like, they're like kind of like I don't want to say he hits on her, but like they're hitting.
She kind of hits on him.
She kind of hits on him.
She like looks at him.
She looks at him. And she's like, "You look damn good in that." They kind of insinuate there's like feelings there at one moment, but you don't believe it, and then she says that, and you're like, "Oh fuck, she's
gonna get with Peter
too." So that was funny. But ultimately, what this leads like the TVA is like, yeah, you guys can stay in this universe. Wolverine knows he can't go and change his universe, so he's staying in Deadpool's Fox universe. Deadpool gets his friends back. Deadpool gets back with Vanessa by the end of the movie.
Does he get back with her?
Yeah. Well, it like starts. They start working toward it because remember they're all sitting at like Thanksgiving or something, and Wolverine's like, "Just talk to her."
Oh
and they like hold hands.
Starts to get back with her
because he thinks about her in his dying moment when they're trying to connect the machines. He's like, "I just want to see Vanessa one more time."
Yeah.
So that was nice. And the movie just kind of ends.
Yeah, and so Wolverine is living in Deadpool's universe with X-23.
Great scene when he's just like, "Am I gonna see you again?" And it's kind of this like slow zoom in on Wolverine's face as he's like kind of like nodding, and he just goes, "Probably not," and then just gets up and walks away.
Yeah, a lot of jokes on Hugh Jackman's age and how long he's been doing these movies, and
how they're
like
gonna
Disney's
keep him.
gonna make you doing it until you're 90.
Yeah. Really funny, and it's got the heart of the other Deadpool movies with more comedy, I would say.
Oh, tons more.
And it ends super well.
I want someone to count the jokes, not me, but someone else to count the jokes.
It's all jokes. However many lines are in that script is all jokes. So yeah, and then the post-credits scene, it cuts to Deadpool, Wolverine, and Johnny from earlier in the movie going to Cassandra's place, and it shows Johnny saying all the shit that Deadpool said that he said.
Yeah.
So like Deadpool didn't
like
make it up.
very intricate, elaborate insults.
It almost sounds weird that he's saying it.
Yeah, you assume Deadpool would have made up, but no, Johnny Storm actually said all of that.
And that's how the movie ends. Great post-credit scene.
Gotcha, fucker.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, let's re-roll the tape. Great way to put the cherry on that movie. Like, it didn't need a Marvel, like, what's next kind of post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, like I said earlier, it was a very Fox movie with Marvel movie influence.
Yeah, and it was pretty much the send-off for the Fox universe.
Yeah, with potential to still use it from time to time.
Yeah.
Love this movie, man. We talked about this way more than I thought we were gonna.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it deserves
and we didn't even talk about a lot of the best jokes.
Sure,
but we'll save those for people who want to watch it.
Yeah, well, this was a spoiler. Maybe if you've watched it and you've listened to us talk, you know what we're talking about. I'm sure we'll see this movie again and talk about it more on this podcast with things we may have forgot because it is just that fun and good of a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10 out of 10. I give this movie.
10
If
out
somebody
of 10.
asked me a number and I said 9, it's not perfect. But for me personally, it's a 10 movie.
Yeah.
Like on my personal scale.
And on entertainment scale.
Entertainment. It made me laugh. It had good action. It had all the characters I loved. What more could I ask for?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is Nerd Shit in the Dark's official Deadpool and Wolverine. We could probably make the whole episode of Nerd Shit in the Dark could just fucking be this Deadpool and Wolverine review because I think we just talked about it for an hour and a half.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, where is Jared anyways? Hey everyone, Chase here, just giving you a little heads up. We decided that after we were done recording that this as one podcast was just way too long. So we decided to kind of cut this whole episode into 2 episodes. So the Deadpool episode will be 1, and the one with Jared where we go into new nerd shit and watch The Matrix with him will come out next week, so that they're kind of separated into 2 separate podcasts. So keep your eyes open for next week when we finish this one up with Jared where we talk all sorts of new nerd shit and cover 1999's The Matrix. See you then.